Hello everybody, welcome back to the 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. Today we are making the seed stitch square. Seed stitch is just, it's a simple stitch pattern that you could make anything in basically. The first time I made it was about a week ago. And I made a dishcloth, my first dishcloth that I made in cotton, and it's just such a beautifully textured stitch. If you can see some of this texture going on as I move it around, I'll turn it over, you can see the back. It's just beautiful. And one of our team said she wants to do it in super chunky yarn and a big thick hook so she can make a nice super cozy blanket. So it's a really lovely stitch to work up. It's so simple, so simple. So you could just use it for whatever you wanted to use it for, really. But we're going to make a square with it today. Now the pattern says to chain 26. Yeah, chain 26. We'll be using making 25 stitches. You need an odd number for this, so you start with an even number of chains, and then you work, you leave one chain as your turning chain, then you have 25 stitches in each row. So if you crochet quite loosely, you might want to take that down to about 24 chains, just miss one stitch off. Or you could take it down to 22. So you need to start with an even number of chains to have an odd number of stitches. Okay, so my suggestion to you is, because this is so quick and simple, is that you work up the number of chains that I say and that I show you, and then do a row, and if it comes up bigger than your other squares, then just undo it and take out a couple of chains, and then you'll be okay, or take out however many you will need to. Okay, so let me stop waffling and let me show you just how lovely and simple this stitch is. Now, if you want to do colour changes in this, by all means feel free to do your colour changes. Mix it up as much as you like. Yeah, feel free, do whatever you fancy. Creative license and all that. So, okay, we're going to chain 26. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oops, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Now, I don't think I go too fast. I don't think I'm a very fast crocheter when I'm talking. But if you need to slow the video down at all, in the top or just below, there's a function there where you can slow the video down. Look for a little cogwheel or 3 dots, and then click on that, and there's the option to slow the video down. There's the option to use captions. I will warn you, if you use captions, then it might not have the right words all the time. We have had a few bloopers. It's just auto-generated captions, so beware, it might not be quite what I say. What you see might not be quite what I say. Okay, so let's start. So 26 chains. Skip the very first chain and do a single crochet into the next chain, and in the next one do a double crochet and then a single crochet. This is 1 stitch in each chain, okay, and a double in the next, single crochet in the next, and we're just going to alternate our single crochet. We are just going to alternate our single crochets and our double crochets, and that is as simple as the stitch is. It does not get any more complicated than that. So all the way to the end, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, oops, so let's do that double crochet again, single crochet. I told you I'm not very fast, didn't I? when I'm just sitting in my own little world, I can crochet faster. But when I'm talking and concentrating about telling other people, I am not so fast. But hey, it's not a race, is it? We're just getting to the end result, however fast or slow we are. And the same with our daily squares. Doesn't matter how long it takes us to catch up with our daily squares. They are going to be there all year and most likely beyond the end of the year. So just continue all the way along, alternating between a double crochet and a single crochet, one in every stitch. Okay, so single, and we started with a single and you should be finishing with a single crochet. There we go. Okay, so this is our row so far. It's going to, if I let go, it's going to ping. The more rows you do, the less curly and pingy it goes. It's just because it's got a bit of stretching, because it's got those two different stitches. So that's your row 1, okay, and that really is as simple as it is. I mean, this is as hard as it gets. The hardest thing, if you want to call it hard, is remembering what you're going to do on the next row. So okay, so you are going to do a chain 1 and turn, and that chain doesn't count as anything, just brings us up for our next row, just our turning chain. Okay, now the only thing you have to remember, which is, if you want to say, the most difficult thing, even though it's not difficult at all, you finished on a single crochet, which means we need to start on a double crochet, and then we do a single crochet and a double crochet, and we do exactly the same thing all the way along. Double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. So because we've alternated our row and we've started on a double crochet, we are doing all the double crochets will now be going into the top of single crochets, and all the single crochets will be going in the top of the double crochets, and that's what gives our stitch its beautiful texture, because naturally the double crochets are going to be sort of bending down a little bit, so it just makes that texture, and it just gives such a lovely effect. So yes, in case you hadn't already guessed, I do rather love this stitch. I love it because it's simple, I love it because it repeats, and I love it because you can literally do whatever you want to do with it, and it makes such a lovely square. And I know Sammy often tells us when she does older or classic stitches or patterns, how much we let the stitch speak for itself. We don't have to do anything fancy with it, we just let the stitch speak for itself. And I think she's right, you know, it really does speak for itself. So never be afraid of looking at simple stitches, old patterns, simple classic stitches. So you started with a double crochet. This is me going to stop waffling. Started with a double crochet and you're going to finish with a double crochet. Remember what I always tell you, this bit on the end, it's often a bit funny and a bit curved over, but just find that stitch and there you go. If you're not finishing with the stitch you started the row on, then you've made a mistake somewhere along. You can have a look back. If it hides and isn't too bad, then just leave it, or feel free to undo. So this is where, once you've done a row or two, you can get your ruler, take measure or whatever, and you can see if it's the right size. So pop this on here. There we go. It is about 6 inches for me. So there we go. If it's a bit too big, then feel free to rip it out, start again with a couple less stitches. If it's too small, you can add stitches on, or by all means you could do a border. We're not going to do a border on this. No, I'm not going to be doing a border. There's not a border on the pattern. That's for you to just decide what you want to do, because we don't always have to put borders on things. So decided not to put a border on this one today. So that's as simple as it is, guys. It's literally just that same row. Well, I guess you could say 2 row repeats. You've got a single crochet row and a double crochet. So chain 1, turn your work over, and then we finished on a double, so start on a single. So do that, chain 1 to start, and then a single crochet, and then a double crochet, and a single crochet, and a double, and a single, all the way along. And then your next row will start with a double. So always just chaining 1 at the start, regardless of what stitch you're starting on. Chain 1, turn your work, and off you go on your next row. So make sure you're starting with the right width of square. You want to start with an even number of chains. So I started with 26. You will miss the first chain, which will give you 25 stitches. You always want an odd amount of stitches, and that's it. So keep going until your square, or until your work becomes square, and fasten off. So I'm actually probably going to not continue this whole square. I haven't decided yet, but you've seen my whole square, and there is really nothing else to show you. You know how to fasten off. I could sit here and I could chat to you for another 10 minutes, but I'm not going to. So we started with a single, and we will finish with a single crochet, and that is where I'm going to leave it with you guys. So look how simple and effective is that already. It's looking beautiful. And you do get these gaps at the bottom on your very first row, and I had this idea that if you made it into something, well, depending on what you made it into, you could weave some ribbon through here. So you could get some ribbon, and then you've got these gaps. If I so you could just go along like so and weave some ribbon or something through there, a different colour thread, yarn, and you could just make this really interesting by threading something through there. So if you feel like doing that, leave a picture in the group and show me what you've done. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to show you this one that I've done before, and tell you that if you have found this useful and helpful, please remember to give us a like. Click on that like button, give us a thumbs up, and all the info is below. Any comments or questions, feel free to leave them. But other than that, just keep hooking and don't let your cup of tea get cold.